and thanks for joining us. One of France's best-known books has been made into an animated movie for the very first time. So what better place for it to premiere than here at the Cannes Film Festival? The Little Prince is insanely popular, selling more than 1 million books every single year. The film, which cost an estimated €70 million and took 5 years to make, stars Jeff Bridges and Rachel McAdams. Let's go and meet the Oscar-nominated director, Mark Osborne.
You are the avalanche.
Wow.
And the Little Prince,
One world away.
he was very fond of sunsets.
I make believe in while I'm wide awake.
Did you finish your study work?
Not exactly. I made a friend.
If you study hard and you stay completely on track with the plan, you can spend some time with your new friend next summer.
Early on, I was a big fan of the book, and what I loved about it was how poetic it is and lyrical, and it's a very small, delicate, precious, piece of work. And I really felt that any attempt to sort of stretch it out and make it big for the movie screen was going to potentially hurt it. So what I decided was the only way to make a movie would be to actually pay tribute to the book. And the best way I found to do that was to allow for a larger story that would keep the book safe at its heart. So the larger story is really about this little girl and her experience of the book, and the story comes to her from a very special place. It comes from this old aviator who lives next door to her. Everybody thinks he's a crazy old man. And she basically gets this story, and it changes her life.
I just wanted to give your drawing back.
You didn't like it?
No, I did. Once upon a time, there was a little prince who lived on a planet that was scarcely bigger than himself.
I thought I'd never find anyone who wanted to hear my story.
If you please, draw me a sheep.
Of all the books written in French, probably over the last century, The Little Prince is potentially the most loved, the most read. It's translated into 250 languages. Why do you think it works so well, the story?
I think the story is so popular and so well known because of the fact that it talks about what makes us human. It's really connected to very, very important big ideas that we all relate to, we all deal with. It talks about love and friendship and dealing with loss, and I think it just taps into what it means to be a human being.
When the moment does come for me to leave, I have to go alone.
The Little Prince is a national treasure. What's it like presenting it to the whole world here in France?
It's a tremendous honor to be here, but it's very terrifying, I think. This work has been years in the making. Hundreds of artists have contributed their hearts and souls to the project to try to protect the book and bring the book to audiences worldwide, and hopefully bring the story to people that have never read the story before.
And one of the most famous quotes from the story is, "It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." How much can a message like that infiltrate audiences at a festival like this, where everything is about what we see?
To me was the key idea in the book that stayed with me over the years, the core idea that I wanted to build the movie around. And I think, people here love film, they love cinema, and I think there's enough people here that love the book that what I mainly am worried about is people who love the book so much that they can't imagine that we could actually make a movie that really takes care of the book and protects the book as much as possible.
Your life plan. The hour of the day of the week of the month of the year of your life. We're not leaving anything to chance.
Now here I am, up here.
You are going to make a wonderful grown-up.
One point as well that the film keeps coming back to is this idea that adults lose focus of what's important, and that when we go into the adult world, everyone is grey, everyone looks very depressed, and they all kind of look like robots. Is that how you see the adult world?
It's intended to be sort of a child's nightmarish vision of what it means to be a grown-up. So it really became a very visual way for us to sort of portray those anxieties. those anxieties are, I think, something that children can relate to, and look, I think grown-ups can relate to. I sort of have this struggle between wanting to be, you know, a parent that lets my kids skateboard and do whatever they want, and, you know, eat candy and have a good life and be free. But there's that part of me that wants to make sure they get good grades and make sure that they're going to be prepared for this very grown-up world that we live in, you know. And so I think there is that contrast that is kind of present for us.
Tell us about this guy.
Yeah, this is our fox doll. This was actually the model that we built based on the designs that Peter Desève did for this character. We wanted to make sure that the book lived throughout the movie, and it wasn't just in the sequences that were done in stop motion that reflected the actual passages from the book. And so the idea of a stuffed animal, of a fox doll that would make this very grown-up little girl look like a little kid, and it becomes a great symbol of the relationship between the aviator and the little girl.
Hey, come and play with me.
I cannot play with you. I'm not tamed. But if you tame me, we shall need each other. To me, you will be unique in all the world. What is essential is invisible to the eye.
It was all done through motion capture. Why did you choose that method?
Actually, it wasn't motion capture. It was we used two techniques. We did CG animation, which is the real world as kind of created in computer animation, and then the passages from the book was done using a technique called stop motion animation. And stop motion is actually small puppets, even smaller than this, and you're articulating and moving those puppets frame by frame. And I felt that was a very beautiful handmade technique that would really allow us to kind of go back into our own childhoods, back into our own imaginations, and it would transport the audience to a universe that was more poetic and more lyrical and had a beautiful sort of tactile quality. And I wanted to remind people of when they read the book. You know, you were looking at these beautiful illustrations, and you're turning the pages and you're feeling the paper.
One of the key moments in the book, in the story, is when the little prince asks the narrator to draw a sheep. I was just wondering if you could draw us one.
You want me to draw a sheep? Well, I can draw you a sheep, and in the book, you know, it takes many tries to get it right.
You've got one go.
Yeah, well, I'll go the easiest route. It's not the most creative route, and but I mean, I love this idea from the movie. I love this idea from the story, and this idea that anything essential is invisible to the eye. I'm just going to completely lift the aviator's interpretation of.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, nice
thank you, and thank you, Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Buckle up. I'm not so sure I want to grow up anymore.
Growing up is not the problem. Forgetting it. You're gonna make a wonderful grown-up.